Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chine. And last night, Latrice Rogers from Bell Collective was on Reality with the King with Carlos King, Dustin Ross, and Claudia Jordan. So, of course, the conversation is about, was Leticia set up by Latrice? And Latrice went on to say, that she knows that we couldn't see everything. She said she had hired people to come out to teach the guys how to smoke cigars. They had massages. They had line dance games. They had pool games. She said she did not have a motive to set Leticia up. And then it's clear from the jump that Latrice and Leticia are not friends, right? She did make mention that Amanda is her friend, so she can kind of understand how people could think that. But Latrice says she don't care that much about Glendale and Leticia to set them up. She don't care about their relationship that much. Now, for somebody to be your friend, I wouldn't think you would say something like that. Like you just don't care. So then we get down to the questions, right? Latrice did say that she had written some questions for the game, but she also said that she was trying to make sure that everything was right in the house because it's on television. You want it to be as best as possible. And she just didn't know that that question was a part of the game. But then there is something that she said that we're going to find out later. I'm going to let her tell you about it. Hold on.
I will be revealed coming forward, but Tisha know for sure. Her and Glenn knows exactly how that question got on the paper. They know that it didn't come from me. And, the fact that, and I get why they're proceeding to act as if, they're the victims and I'm the villain, which is perfectly fine. I'm always the villain when it comes to them, so I'll take it. But they know the truth. I didn't write the question. I'm going to stand on it, and that's just what it is.
So, Leticia, come to the front. Because somebody's lying. Somebody's not telling all of the truth. For Latrice to sit here on this Reality with the King and say that Leticia and Glenn knows who had written the question down, that's wild behavior to me. And then when Claudia said, do you know who had written the question? Latrice said yes. And then Dustin's like, well, can you tell us? And she said no. Carlos intervened and he says it's all going to be revealed on the reunion. So we're not even going to get who wrote the question in these next two episodes because there's only two more episodes. So we have an episode this Friday and then next Friday. And then the next week is the reunion, although they are filming right now. So Leticia knows who had written the question down? That's crazy. So then Dustin asked her, since you can't tell us who wrote the question, can you tell us if you felt vindicated after it had come out who wrote the question? Latrice said she don't feel no ways about it. She said because she stood in her truth, she knew she didn't do it. She doesn't owe these ladies a lie. She is not concerned with the Leticias and the Glendales of the Bell Collective. She said so. No, she didn't feel any kind of way. And I think that Latrice saying that, coming off of what happened last season with Akeisha and that letter that she had written, I really feel like Latrice should try to soften up her image. Let me know if you feel like that, I mean, that's what I think. What do you think? Because her response was kind of cold. So then this is the part I put in Hot Topics yesterday when Dustin asked her, what happened because we saw her and Leticia get back together. And then Latrice later on says she doesn't trust Leticia, right? And then we talk about Amanda, her best friend from a long time ago. And then, so Dustin's like, kind of clear your name. And then she went on to say that she would never, if she had to do it again, she would never tell Leticia what she knew about the DM situation. She said she just didn't want to put herself in the middle. But if you're my friend, this is what I'm thinking. Would she have told Amanda if the tables were turned? If Amanda and Glenn were married, would she tell Amanda that Leticia was in Glenn's DMs? I don't know. So then Latrice is trying to answer a question. She can't answer the question. Carlos kind of takes it over because he's saying that you're loyal to Amanda but you have this relationship with Leticia. And then she's like, I don't want to give too much away. But she then goes on to say that the littlest thing that she takes to Leticia about Glenn, it blows up in her face and she looks like the villain. So let Latrice say this to you. Hold on.
Say for instance, the whole baby situation, right? Mm-hmm. With Glendale. My whole thing was, the only thing I told Leticia was, oh, somebody's going to talk about the baby on a blog. They took that entire thing as if I brought information about the baby, like this was their first time hearing about the baby, like I'm trying to break up a happy home because I brought the whole baby into the equation, when in fact they already knew about it's not even a baby. The child was like probably 9 or 10 years old. Like, it's just little simple stuff like that. Like, I just can't get past that. So with that, that's the reason why I do not tell Leticia anything. I've done this with plenty of friends, and in the end, like, they're beefing with me because, I was once that girl that if I saw your boyfriend or husband doing something, I'm taking pictures, I'm texting you. Like, I do all of that. But like I said, in the end, they're beefed out with me, because 9 times out of 10, you're on the road with your spouse, right? So that's just the way it goes. And it's like a bout lesson each and every time. I've lost plenty of friends over that. So, no.
And then Latrice goes on to say that people were saying that it was her, with the question about Glenn and Amanda, was Latrice trying to get revenge for Leticia and Marie being in her face at the reunion, right? But word on the curb is that is what Leticia was told at Latrice's pool party. That people were, you heard what Latrice just said, like, I was telling them that it's going to come out about a baby. And it kind of went left. So she said, well, I heard that it was told to Leticia that Latrice and Amanda was going to kind of come at her for the way they did Latrice at the reunion. But with this whole thing about Amanda and Glenn, that was left field for Leticia. She was blindsided by that. So that's why they feel like she did that out of retaliation. But why was that card in Amanda's lap with Glenn's name on it? But one thing's for sure, Latrice does have a get my lick back spirit. Let's get into it.
No, that's not my type of revenge.
Yeah.
Like a text that's so mediocre, If I'm gonna actually plan something and do something, it's gonna be way bigger than that. Ooh. Trust and believe that.
Child, so then Claudia asked the question about Leticia. Like, is it hard for her to receive information about her husband? She says she's not going to help anybody cheat, but is it hard for Leticia to receive information? Listen to what Latrice said.
It's definitely a lot harder for Leticia to receive it, which is why, I just don't. I think if we're looking at it, we can go down a list of bells, and I'm pretty sure all of them know something about Glendale, but nobody is going to be like, hey, Leticia, your husband is this or that,
Is he blatantly out there like that? Is it like a known thing in the streets of Mississippi? Is it like, oh yeah, that's what is he community?
I mean, Claudia, Dustin, you guys have been watching the show, so
I haven't been to Mississippi in a long time, so I don't know what's in those community streets. Like, is his D community D?
I mean, that's what they would say. I've never had this D before.
Latrice ended by saying, like, answering Dustin's question, is that she didn't know that this was going to happen at her house. And she was like, because that could have been a liability. She did, however, know about the DMs, but she stands on that she would never tell Leticia anything. Then they got to talking about Latrice and Marie's relationship. And Latrice is like, Marie is as good as she is produced. So it's giving the Latrice Marie hookup is just for TV also. Then she was talking about how she is alluded to be such a horrible person. And she asked Dustin, Carlos, and Claudia, have they ever seen her do anything to make her be such a horrible person? So I ask you that question. Have you ever seen anything Latrice has done to make her such a horrible person? Other than that text message she sent to Akeisha, I was like, she has the ability to be, but let me know what you think. It's your girl Millie Chan. I'll talk to you later.